Episode 3 in our mid-morning talk with Najma Khota Ramadan series. Alhamdulillah, we are on our third discussion on the preservation of the Holy Quran. The writing of the word of the Quran is our topic today. And with us is our very special guest, Qari Basheer Patel, who is the teacher of Quranic sciences at the Jaamia Al Tawheed, a division of the Al Tawheed Foundation. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program, Qari Basheer.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, it's so difficult to actually break this down into something that we can talk about in less than half an hour. So we're going to try and squeeze as much as possible when we talk about the development of Quranic orthography and how it differs from Arabic literature. So, when we started off, we were saying that the Quran was an oral revelation, and there was no written text at the time. And then it progressed into what we have today as the text or written text of the word of Allah. So, what firstly is the definition of orthography?
Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. And as you say, it's a very deep topic and something very, very technical in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And something as technical as this, my challenge today will be to bring it to such a level that our viewers and listeners will understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So the Quranic text, right? We know that firstly, we mentioned that it is a revelation which was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through Jibreel alayhi salam in an oral fashion, oral way, oral format. However, the writing of the Quran also we believe that it is wahi from Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. It was revealed that it must be written in this specific way. And during the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quran was not written in book form. However, every ayah, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had scribes who would commit it to writing as well. So it was written, the whole Quran was written, the entire text, but different places. So that just as a backdrop against what we will be speaking today. So today what we will discuss is more of the history of the Arabic written script, because we cannot squeeze everything else in.
Right.
Now, the word orthography is something which I myself, it was very new to me as well before I started studying this. And I'm sure that, when you say so technical in nature, that most of our viewers and listeners will not be able to understand what is it's a word they've heard the first time in their lives. So orthography means, there's two definitions to it. One definition of orthography is that the spelling system of a language, like we take English, the word phone is P-H-O-N-E. So that forms part of the orthography of the English language. Thou, T-H-O-U-G-H. The G-H is not pronounced, it is silent. However, you write it. When you write it, you must write it. If you don't write it, someone will not understand what you are writing. So the spelling system of a language, that is referred to orthography, the sciences of orthography, or the study of writing, the spelling system. There is another broader definition to it, that it encompasses the spelling as well as all the, the punctuation, for example, full stops, commas, question marks. So this all will fall within the scope of orthography. So these are two different definitions that we are speaking about. As for the Quran, we know that there was no full stops, etc. People knew where to stop, without any of these signs. The earlier Arabs knew where to stop, using the sciences of syntax, how each word relates to the next word. Using that science, they knew where a sentence will finish. So they didn't need all these punctuations. That's why we'll deal with the first part or the first definition, which is the spelling system of a language. So in short,
Right.
orthography is the spelling system of a language.
All right. So now, in terms of the differing words, you just explained what the differing words are, but and then why would these two systems differ? So maybe you can elaborate on that first, in terms of, you did mention the two systems, and then talk about how they differ.
It
And what
depends on the language.
Right.
Let's say the English language. If you
Right.
remove all the punctuation marks, like today's time when people are, using, messages, WhatsApp messages or SMS messages, etc., many people leave out the punctuation within the message, to save on the amount of characters that they will be using, especially when it was SMS. And now, because they're doing it so fast, so it takes time to put a full stop there or a question mark or this or that, so people don't do it. Many times you receive a message, and now you have to read it 2 and 3 times. It saves the writer time, but it takes time from the reader of how to understand what he's trying to say, what the author is trying to say. So in the English language, these punctuation marks, etc., is very, very important. So if we were discussing English orthography, then we will use the second definition, which encompasses all these different rules. For example, where do you put a full stop? Where do you put a comma? Where do you put an exclamation mark? Where do you put inverted commas, etc.
Mm-hmm.
However, in Arabic, even the dots that are found on the letters we find in the Quran today, that itself also was not found in the original Arabic script. Now, the Arabic script, as we know, is more consonant based. It is a set of consonants without the vowels, etc. So if you take the word Muhammad, now in English, how you will spell it? M-U-H-A-M-M-A-D. So how many are there? M-1-U-H-A-M-M-A-D. That is 8 letters. Mm-hmm. Now the same word, write it in Arabic, it is Mim, Ha, Mim, and Dal. So what you only have 4 letters instead of the 8 letters. Why? Because the vowels are implied and not written. A person in Arab will know what vowel to place where. Right. Likewise, if the vowels itself is not so important to the Arabic script, to a greater extent, these punctuation marks will not be necessary for these for the Arabic script.
Right, which brings us to our next question, and that we'll answer after this break. Is it allowed to modify Quranic orthography to match conventional Arabic? And I know that's another big, long answer, but perhaps you can narrow it down for us and then give us the practicality in terms of your the diagrammatic form of this explanation, inshallah.
No.
I've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
From samosas and half moons to cook sisters and roti, everything between iftar and sehri makes sunfoil cooking oil an essential part of your Ramadan. Approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a healthy diet, this blessed month, give your family the best with sunfoil, because tradition just tastes better.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath his serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
This Ramadan, spread the winds of generosity across the world with the Al Imdad Foundation. Sponsor a food hamper for just 800 Rand and help us deliver essential food aid supplies to struggling families across 40 countries globally. Let's feed the fasting this Ramadan. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy shares or should I invest in gold bullion? Randery Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, an alternative to the Kruger Rand. The Zahab coin, a solid wealth protector in its purest form of 24-karat gold, is the safest way to protect your wealth. So don't just sit there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randery Jewelers now at 031 202 4701 or visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
In the aftermath of the tragic earthquakes in Syria and Turkey, thousands of survivors are struggling and in need of food, shelter, and life-saving aid. This Ramadan, take a closer look at the countless lives that have been turned upside down. You have the power to help. Your donation is the lifeline, a beacon of hope in an otherwise hopeless situation. Please donate today. Visit donate.unhcr.org/RamadanZA.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
I'm Najma Khota, and this is our Ramadan series, episode 3 on the preservation of the Holy Quran. Qari Basheer, in terms of the preservation and in relation to our topic, which is the preservation of the Holy Quran, my question before the break was, is it allowed to modify Quranic orthography to match conventional Arabic?
At the opening, we said that the whole text of the Quran was written in the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why we refer to it as being tawqifi. And Imam Shatibi, we call it tawqifi. Tawqifi means that it comes down by revelation. And so the Quranic script is tawqifi in nature. That means it was, the way it must be written was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and scribes came forward to write it, and that's how it was preserved. Imam Ash-Shatibi rahimahullah in the book Aqilatu Atrab also mentions this, and Abu Amr ad-Dani in his Kitab al-Muqni' mentions the same thing. So in other words, since seeing that the writing is part of the revelation, that is why writing also will not be able to, we are not allowed to change it with the change of times. So that's in a nutshell, and inshallah that we will discuss in next week's episode, where we discuss the Mus'haf Uthmani in particular. So that inshallah, so in a nutshell, no, it can't be.
Okay, so take us through the evolution of Arabic writing.
You see, the scholars differ as far as how did it evolve to what we have today. Today, what we have, we refer to it as the Al-Jazm script. We call it the Al-Jazm, J-A-Z-M, the Al-Jazm script. Now, we know all languages revolve from each other. The first question comes to mind is that who was the first to write? Now, we have the Islamic point of view and we have the Orientalist point of view. The approach is different. We who follow revelation, believe in revelation, and we take our cues and clues from revelation. Whereas the Orientalists will look for hard evidence and base their arguments on hard evidence. So what we say is that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala in the Quran said, عَلَّمَ بِالْقَلَمِ عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ. That means Allah taught with the pen and He taught people that what they do not know. So that's in a nutshell. That's as far as revelation is concerned. Now, who was this Allam al-Insan that taught people? So most scholars say that this Allah is referring to Adam alayhi salam, who we don't know what language he spoke, but in his language he wrote. And then other ulama say no, it is Idris alayhi salam. That is Idris alayhi salam. He was the first to write based on a hadith with a weak chain of narration of Abu Dharr Ghifari radiyallahu anhu, where he says, أول من كتب بالقلم Idris alayhi salam. Now, and then some scholars say no, when Allah spoke of Allam al-Insan, Allah meant anyone. It can be anyone, so it's not specific that it was Idris alayhi salam or Adam alayhi salam or whoever. So we are not 100% sure that who was the first person to write from a revelation point of view. Right? So Islamic scholars, we also differ, but not with 100% certainty. Now let's go to the Orientalists. They say that if we don't find hard evidence, then we don't believe. We believe in the hard evidence we find. So the earliest they could go to was either cuneiform or even earlier hieroglyphics. Now there's two problems there. It doesn't mean if you didn't find something, it doesn't exist. So if you manage to unearth hieroglyphics, it doesn't mean there was nothing before that. That's the first thing. Secondly is hieroglyphics is based on theory because it's all whatever they have found, evidence they have found is all undated. They are all undated. They have no dates on it to show that it comes from this time. Same likewise with cuneiform. So you can't be certain that no, cuneiform came from hieroglyphics or hieroglyphics is derived from cuneiform. So we can't say that. However, we know the Quran was written in the Al-Jazm script. Now, Al-Jazm, most of our scholars believe that it evolved from the Al-Musnad. And if we go to the diagram, there we can see the difference between the Al-Musnad and the Al-Jazm. Some say Musnad, some say Nabatiyan, but most probably it is from the Musnad script because there are quite a few similarities. One similarity is that like in the Al-Jazm script, which we know today, you have different forms. You have 4 different forms for most of the letters. Depending where it comes at the beginning of a word, it comes in the middle of the word, if it comes alone, or it comes at the end of the word. So likewise, the Al-Musnad script also the Al-Musnad script also had those different variations for each letter. And both scripts are 28 letters. If we take Alif and Hamza to be 1, then both scripts are 28 letters. The difference being is that the Arabic script is more horizontal, which allows for the free flowing of the writing. It allows you to write it freely from right to left, whereas a vertical script, for example, English is a more vertical script. It is difficult to write it, to flow while writing. We have the cursive, but so much so that even cursive has been done away with. Very few people write in cursive today. Now, this diagram in front of you, if you look at it, you see right at the beginning, we have the Arabic letters as we know it today. That's in with a black background. So it's alif,
Right.
ba, ta, tha, going downwards.
Right.
Then
Right.
you see after that, that is a Nabatean script.
Mhm.
I don't know if your engineer can just maybe just zoom it in for our viewers, if they for them to make it easier.
I don't think it's possible.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So that is a Nabatean script. Then
Mhm.
we go to the Jazm script that is in the third column there. Now
Mhm.
that is how it was written in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Salam.
Right? All the letters is the way it was written. The font has changed today. However, the what you call it, the orthography or the rasm remains the
Yes.
same. And then you see the balance of the columns. That's all part of the Musnad script. Now you see that they also have different forms. So each letter, like alif, the first row on top is alif. So you'll see how in Arabic it has two different, in the Musnad, in the Jazm script, it has two different forms. However, in the Jazm script, yes, and the Musnad script, you see various forms, and like you go down, all of them, that is the same. They have the different forms. So that is why we say that the Arabic script has a lot of similarities with a difference. A lot of similarities to the Musnad script. Musnad meaning upright. So that means all those letters were upright and vertical. Whereas the Arabic script is more horizontal in nature, allowing you to write, and both are written right to left.
Okay, wonderful. All right. And you know what? You've ended it exactly on time so that we can, in fact, display this again next week. So you can just take us through it again because we had to go through it very quickly. So we'll go through it again, start the program off on that slide, and then move on to, the actual historical manuscripts, as you've alluded, the Uthmanic script, etc.
Inshallah, and I hope it was our especially the viewers, because we had the listeners may not be able to understand, but I hope the viewers be able, I tried my best to something so deep, so technical in nature, try to make it easy, and I hope inshallah that they have understood what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, knowing you have, alhamdulillah. But that's why I'm saying let's just try and expand on it a little more, because in terms of our theme in the preservation of the Quran, it's extremely important to understand the written aspect as well, and how, in fact, that plays a part in preserving the Holy Quran. Jazakallah khair, Qari Basheer, for your time.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That brings us to the end of the part 3 in our series of the psychology of Ramadan, Jalaluddin Rumi, his history and teachings, and of course the preservation of the Holy Quran with our guest Qari Basheer Patel. We look forward to being with you next week, inshallah, at the same time between 11 and 1 on a Tuesday for part 4 in our series. I'll be back with you on Monday, inshallah, with our regular programming, also between 11 and 1. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.